Fuck. All right.
All right, Triple Cross Podcast. We are back at it again for another baseball edition. I'm Matt. That is Justin. I don't know where our cool video is, so things happen in today's technology world. But we are back at it. Glad to have everyone on that is coming in. We have a lot to talk about today, but first, Justin, I need to know how did the Ghosties do this past weekend?
This weekend we won, and then they played last night and won as well. I was unable to make that start, but 2-0 the last two games. I think it's actually 3-0. We might actually be on a bit of a streak right now. So
whoa,
exciting stuff.
What do you normally play? Like, do you play midweek?
No, I think this was just because the weekends, people are out of town, so they're trying to make up for it. So we had a midweek game and went well. So 3-0.
So where are you? Where are you in the standings?
Oh man, let me see. I'm not much of a standings watcher, but let's see here.
I mean, I guess another question is when does your season end? Does it go through September?
Give me a second. I will be able to tell you all of that.
All right. Now I'm curious. For folks that are joining in, welcome to Triple Cross Baseball Edition. We're getting an update on the Oakland Ghosties right now from Justin.
We are in second place. We are one game back.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad.
We are 6-2. The top team is 7-1. So I believe, so we're right there knocking on the door. And to answer your second question, looks like the playoffs are in September. So yeah, we've got 5 or so games left before the playoffs start. So
okay. Well, if folks that are watching or listening are in the Bay Area and you want to see some high quality adult wood bat baseball, the Oakland Ghosties, check out Warren and Justin. You can see them. I actually went to a game and that was fun. That was a huge comeback. I remember I went to. So yeah.
What I can tell you is it is baseball. I cannot speak to the quality, but it is the game of baseball for sure.
And it's free admission too, so which is even better.
Can't be free. You really can't.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, Michael. Hello, Don. Welcome in. We are just getting underway. But before we get into the show, into the meat of it, of course, we have to call out our sponsors and tell you some other cool information. So Yeats Sunglasses, we're brought to you by Yeats Sunglasses. Go to Yeats, YEETZ, sunglasses.com. Use promo code BELLYUP for 10% off. Also, we have 2 tickets to an MLB game show or MLB game of your choice. We're going to be doing this giveaway soon. I actually have to get on this because this has been going for a hot minute. So if you have not yet signed up, please click the link in the description and we will be doing a draw here soon. Also, we're doing a giveaway on PlayBack after the normal broadcast. So make sure you are on PlayBack. That's all I have to say. But obviously, the biggest news that happened yesterday is Domingo German. I don't know.
Probably Herman. I don't know.
Herman. Yeah.
Probably.
It's a silent G, or a light G. Herman throws a perfect game, the 24th in MLB history. Justin, you were describing in 2019, let's rewind the tape a little bit. In 2019, he was suspended for 81 games.
81 games. Now, to be fair, what I was telling Matt offline was, you see the alert last night. I have to admit I wasn't watching the game. Probably very few people were. It was the A's. They're as if they needed this added to their season of. Anyway, So I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty impressive. 24 in the whole history of baseball. And then this morning I wake up and the first tweet I see about it is about the fact that he got suspended for 81 games for domestic violence. And on one hand, it's like, man, that's brutal. He has the best day of his baseball life.
Right.
And then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, he also put his hands on his partner. So, that's tough. It's tough, but at the same time, it did happen. So, I don't know. He served a suspension. So, it's like the past is the past. And obviously,
right,
that has no bearing on his performance on the field, but it is an interesting note, to say the least.
Well, yeah, I wonder. I'm trying to think of like if there's been any other like notable. I'm sure there is like accomplishments, and then the news picks up like the trash that happened before. I mean, the one thing that comes to my mind right off the bat is like that's not baseball, but that's more current is Ja. Like if Ja did something, scored 100 points in a game, like they would probably, go back to being like, oh, remember when he did all this stuff? I don't know. I don't recall like who. Yeah, that's rough, right? You have like the best day of your life, and then the news just. But that's what the news does. It picks up dirt.
But
like
it's just like you're riding so high, and they're like, yeah, but remember when you did that terrible thing that you wish you could take back,
right,
but you can't, and you served 81 games to pay for it.
Did you see any of the highlights?
I saw the last out. That's what I did see.
Okay.
That.
So I watched the highlights on SportsCenter, and there were a couple things that I noticed. One, there was a play by Rizzo because there's always like one play that's like, you need your defense. You saved it. Yeah. So there was a ball down the first base line, and he snagged it, which was a great play. The last play of the game, I don't know if you noticed this, but that ball was like it was not
took a hop.
It took a hop, and it was like kind of a snow can. It was a little snow coney-ish. I saw the ball, but dude, like if you're the defense, like, and you're in, like, dude, I do not want the ball hit to me. Like that is the last thing I want.
Oh man, I swear. I wish Warren was here to fact check me, but Jonathan Sanchez, a unknown Giant starter, was on the brink of a perfect game, and the third baseman kicked it, and so he ended up with a no-hitter, or maybe he didn't even end up with a no-hitter. But
was it late? Was it late in the game?
Oh, it was late. It was like at least the 8th inning, if not a little bit, like 8 and change.
Right.
So, man, it just. Anyway, it's brutal. It's like there's a lot of pressure on you to make these plays. Like you want the fans, like Matt Cain, he does it in 2012, and there's a play where the right fielder is deep in Triple's alley laying out, and he catches it, and it's like, dude, that's the play where if you have, anyone else basically out there playing right field, that's a triple or a double, and that's
right.
And we're never talking about this game again. It doesn't matter, But
wait, did he throw a perfect? I don't think. Did he throw a perfect game?
Who?
Matt Cain.
100%, dude.
Well, I know the last one was Felix Hernandez.
All right, that's great. But 2012.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing.
Put some respect on Matt
Cain. They keep highlighting
his name.
They keep highlighting the Felix Hernandez because that was the most recent one. That was also in 2012, and they don't talk about Matt Cain. So Matt Cain because it's the Giants.
Well, yeah. Also, Felix Hernandez, Matt Cain. When you ask a random baseball fan, they know who Felix Hernandez is. They just do, and they may know who Matt Cain is. Highly unlikely. Right. There was a lot of promise when he came up. He was throwing gas with a sick slider or curveball, 2 pitches, but he was a hard luck starter for sure. They could never seem to score when he was on the bump. But anyway,
do you think? Yeah. So I also saw Herman. He had a huge lipper in there.
All right.
Like, I don't know if you picked up on that, but he had a huge dip in the whole game. So like, hey,
so he was high is what you're trying to say.
Oh, like at some point, like there's a diminishing return, right? Like if you
I
keep
just
doing the same
remember.
thing.
I remember like I was in college and it was like spring ball, and someone was talking about how you watch the majors and they're chewing and you just assume that it must be super relaxing. It's like, so I did my first dip. I step into the box and he's like, I was higher than I've ever been in my life. He's like, how do you hit a baseball like this? Like, what is going on, man? And I was, it's kind of more
Wow.
impressive in some ways, It's just,
So wait, you tried it, like you didn't try it like just hanging out. You
no,
like,
not
I'm gonna
me.
throw
I'm
it
saying
in.
I was talking to another player and he was talking about how his
Oh,
experience with dip was.
okay,
It's like,
okay.
that is absolutely hilarious.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I haven't partaken in the nicotine products, so I can't speak from personal
well,
experience. But
who has like the wildest lipper in is Devers. That
okay,
dude has
yeah,
like, I don't know if you've noticed, but it is like a wad in his bottom jaw. I mean, honestly, like that's how Tony Gwynn died. Like
yeah, he had
he
throat
died.
cancer, right?
Yeah, or yeah. I mean, that's just like he just because he just dipped all the time. Not a definitely not an advocate of throwing in the chew.
Smokeless tobacco, man. It's
But do you
tough.
think? Yeah. Do you think? So this is the 24th perfect game in MLB history, which is honestly like pretty impressive. There hasn't been one in over a decade. What do you think is a record that is just like there's no way anyone's ever breaking this?
I mean, I could see a world, especially with the new balls and where 73 could be in jeopardy, but at the same time, that feels like just remembering that season, it felt like there weren't too many games that went by without him threatening, and that was with him being Barry Bonds. That is
Right.
being intentionally walked all the time. Like I think there's one Arizona game where they literally walked him with the bases loaded. And
Oh yeah,
and they still won the game, so it was like a good move. But I'd never seen that before, and it's just like you can think of the reasons why you would intentionally walk someone, and Barry Bonds threw that out the window. It was like, no, we know that the guy behind him can also hit, but we can't afford to let this guy go deep on us. So
is that your final answer for like
I mean,
you
with the
think
way
that
they're
is
Jimmy Jacking with the balls? I don't know. I mean,
okay? Well, I'm gonna throw one out there that I
all right,
don't
go ahead.
I do not think that this will ever be broken. Is Cal Ripken Jr.'s
Yeah, in
streak?
today's game, that's a
Yeah.
that's a great answer.
There's no way like he 2000 like 162 games or some ridiculous number. I mean, like I don't even know. I'm kind of want to look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now.
In the age of the platoon, it's just
Right.
There's really not a scenario where you'll get the opportunity to play that much. And these guys are getting paid so much now where it's like you don't want to wear them down. It's like that's what load management is in baseball too, where it's like, hey, you've been out there for about a week. Why don't we
we'll
played have you available?
2,632 games. So Lou Gehrig was the one before that. There's no way anyone would guess the third because he played in 1916 was Everett Scott.
The great Everett Scott?
The great. Okay, number 4 is an interesting one, which I mean, you've heard of him, but it definitely wouldn't ring. It was Steve Garvey.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
1,207.
That's a far cry. That's a huge difference, dude.
To 2,600. That's not even halfway.
Oh,
yeah, there's just no way that ever happens again. I don't see a world. The only world that I would see that maybe happening, which will never happen, is if like the number of games like shrunk to like 100 games a year or something.
But even
like
then,
that.
now we're stretching the time that it would take.
Yeah, 26 years.
The years that it would take to do it.
Yeah.
So
I think that one. I also think. I mean, the number of home runs, like the Bonds with the most amount of home runs ever, that's going to be tough too.
I think
I don't know.
You're getting fewer at bats, right? In general, because
Yeah.
you're not playing that often. Man, I mean, he had a long career, and he was pretty good for basically an entirety of it. It's funny. I think he ended with a 298 batting average, and he's still pissed that he's not a 300 hitter. And like, really, it fell below 300 because he was pressing so hard to pass Hank Aaron, like that. It was just like, dude, it was anyway. So, 298 is still awesome, but it's not 300.
He's still such a competitor. He wants to be at the top at everything. Go out on top.
I mean, who's that?
Yeah,
it's a shame that his legacy has been tainted, but I challenge you to look at his body of work, like before there was any allegations. Skinny Bonds was a hell of a player. Probably 4 tools. His arm wasn't great, but it was accurate, as Mike Krukow might say.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah, that's a tough. I'm just looking at some like all time. Oh, I definitely do not think the Nolan Ryan 7 no-hitters. There's no way that's happening. That I just don't see a world.
I mean, here the thing about that is that contact is so much less emphasized now. I think 7 is still ridiculous.
We have a guy almost hitting 400.
Sure, on one team.
Right.
But I mean, in general, I'm watching the Giants almost every game now, and this team teeters on getting no hit. It seems like a couple times a month where it's like, dang, no hits in the 8th. What's going on, guys? Like it's the 6th inning. And it's just you going for broke, and it's like strikeout, home run, cool, like whatever, a double. I'm trying to hit it hard. I don't necessarily care to try to punch it on the right side. Like it's just the emphasis is different, and so I could see a world where, or you meet up with you have a terrible team in your division and you're a hell of a pitcher. Like,
well, I mean, Herman pitched against the A. Herman pitched against the A's. So, like, does that diminish?
To me, it diminished it slightly.
Okay,
it's still a perfect game though. Like he didn't even walk anyone. That's still impressive.
There's no errors, no walks, no hit by a pitch, no like that is.
Errors are tough because that's out of the pitcher's control. Right. But like hit by pitches, walks, like that's really impressive.
I wonder. I didn't look this up. I wonder how many counts he went to 3 balls on. I don't know.
Couldn't have been very many if he was under 100.
Yeah. Also, another one more call out that I think will be very tough to beat, which is the most amount of strikeouts. Nolan Ryan was 5,714 in his career. You
know what? I'm sorry.
I don't see that.
300 wins.
You don't think 300? You don't think someone's going to hit 300 wins again? No. I definitely think someone's going to hit 300 wins.
Who?
I mean, the only guy that I could think of that, well, I was going to say Ohtani, but he didn't even start. He didn't play. His whole career.
He had a whole career almost. I know. Not a whole, but like a significant portion of a career already in Japan.
There will be. Ichiro. There will be someone who, look, if you do the math, like it's, say you play, I'm going to say 15 seasons and you win 20 games a year. Although no one wins 20 games a year.
I'm sorry. That's not the record, though. My bad. Hold on.
No, it's not the record. No, the record is 511. That will never be broken.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to. Sorry. Let me start there. I don't even think that another pitcher is going to get to 300. Certainly not 400. Like that's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah,
350 is probably. I think with you're getting fewer starts, or your careers aren't that long.
It's just
you're throwing so much harder that I don't think you have that many bullets, and you're not going as long. So I just like think of like Randy Johnson, as dominant as he was basically limped into 300. You know what I think? Like
right.
It's hard for me to see.
Yeah. I think there'll be some young stud. Maybe he's got like throws both arms. I don't know. Just a thought.
Oh, okay. I mean, listen,
You know?
sure. Okay. I don't believe you, but I mean, it's possible. It's certainly possible.
It is possible. Well, it was cool. I mean, I came home and I turned on Sports Center and I was like, oh, perfect game. That's like a rare occurrence. So
super rare.
24
cool. Yeah. in how many years?
I mean, if you're counting like the modern era, it's probably since like 1910 or something like that. I don't know what they're like counting from, but the live ball era was 1920. So let's call it from that. So like over 100 years. So that's like one every 4 years. That's not common. But wanted to move on to something that's happening today, and we need to cross-check this. So I'm going to pull up the All-Star, because the All-Star starters were announced, and we did our little sheet here. So let's see how wrong we were. I'm going to pull up the selection here and see what we have. Okay, here we go. Here's our starters.
So we're saying just starters, or like the first and the finalists and the runner-ups?
Well, I think they just did. This wants to load. I think they just did the starters today.
Okay.
Yeah, because then they go into another round of.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. All right. So. Okay, so somebody had Ohtani, right? I'm assuming yes. Who had Ohtani? Munn had Ohtani. Okay, so he's in. Boy, MLB.com is a very buggy website here. Okay, Acuna Jr. Who had Acuna?
I did.
You did. Okay, nice pick. All right. Let's see who else we have here. Okay, American League, Rutschman. Did anyone have him? No one had him. Wow.
I'm so surprised, dude. It's hilarious.
Wow. Okay. Oh no, these are. Why? Wait a second. I'm getting this.
What are you even looking at right now, bro?
I'm looking at the. Okay, they didn't say the starters on here. I'm on MLB.com, and I have both. I have two people that are listed. This is really weird.
What position?
I was just looking at starter. I'm sorry, catcher. I'm pulling up.
All right, so I have Heim and Murphy as the starters.
Hold on. Are you on ESPN?
No, I'm on Sporting News.
Okay. Well, let's just go off of that. So who do you have for the starters?
Heim and Jonah Heim and Sean Murphy.
For catchers.
Yep.
Okay, we missed that. Nice.
We did. But you had Smith, and he looks like he's got the second most. He's the runner-up right now. Okay. So he's not starting, but he's probably going to be on the team, presumably.
Now I've got the list. Okay, so we missed the catchers. First base, we have Diaz and Freeman. So no one had. Wait. Okay, I had Freeman. No one has Diaz.
Well, I mean, who's Polar Bear?
Polar Bear is Pete Alonso.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. There we go.
Wow. Okay, so we missed him.
I mean, I bet Vlad makes it though.
Yeah, he should. Okay, Arias and Simeon. Do we have them? Arias. I have Arias.
You had Arias. Yep. And I had Freeman.
No one has Simeon.
I have Marcus Freeman. Oh, sorry. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. No one. So we're missing there. Okay.
No, I had
Nice.
Marcus. Marcus Simeon is who I had. I think you just put Marcus.
Oh, I put just from Marcus. Oh, you did.
How dare you? How dare you?
I just probably couldn't spell. I couldn't spell his last name.
That's probably exactly why you did it.
All right. Shortstop.
You didn't want to write semen on your.
All right. Now we know the truth.
Yep,
Corey Seager and Orlando Arcia. Seager. Yep, I have Seager.
You jumped to short. What did you get? Third already? I'm sorry. I missed
I jumped to. I'm at short.
Okay, that's an interesting choice. Okay,
and
you're going out of numerical order. I did that.
Well, this is how it is in ESPN, so I'm just going through that. Yeah.
Okay.
No one has Arcia. Okay, we missed that. Dude, I've never even heard of Josh Jung. So that's a.
Is it Jung or is it Young?
Young, probably Young.
Yeah.
Okay, Arenado. Did anyone have Arenado? Yes, you did.
Yeah, I believe I did. Indeed.
Okay. Trout and Acuna Jr.
I got Acuna and Trout.
Oh, you got it. Two for two.
Yeah, buddy.
Rosarena and Betts.
Yep, you got a Rose. I love that you're like, I also don't know how to spell that.
Where's Betts? Did we just miss him? No way.
How do we whiff on Mookie?
What? That's a huge.
No, you have him at second base. Munt had him at second base.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay. I was gonna say there's no way. All right, so you had him. Judge, who probably won't even play.
Yep.
And
Munt had him as well.
Judge, Carroll. I think I have Carroll. Yep. Okay. Yep. And Otani and JD Martinez. Does anyone have JD? Sleeper.
Yeah,
I mean, look, what's
I
up?
wanted to go. If I had to stick, this was like we had this conversation. If I had to stick to the position, I would have picked JD Martinez. But you said I could use anyone, so I used Olsen. And obviously, it doesn't look like he's on the list right now. So that's unfortunate.
Okay.
Although, I'm watching him right now with the Blue Jays, and he's looking pretty solid. So, anyway.
I mean, JD's a sleeper. Like he's having, he's
thought he was over the hill, and his bat is looking very alive.
When you come to LA and you get good weather, things happen.
Yeah.
We actually also, fun fact, Dodger Stadium has been voted the best maintained surface, infield, outfield, dirt by all players.
Where did Judge get hurt? I'm sorry. I'm just curious. Where did that happen?
Well, I did not include the fence. I did not include the fence.
Well, I mean, that is part of the field of play, clearly, because that lip is faulty at best.
That is very faulty.
Well, you've got footers tripping over it.
He has a strained. What is it? Is it a strained or pulled? I think it's or torn. Hold on.
It's not good. Whatever it is, it's a legitimate injury, especially for a guy of his size.
But it's his toe.
Listen. What touches the ground
the most?
Toe.
Toe.
Yeah, your feet. Yeah. It's part of the chain. It's the first.
Do you think?
Could argue among the most important parts of the the whole walking apparatus. So
do you think do you think he has orthotics?
He may after this to try to give him some assistance.
Yeah. That's he's been out for. I mean, he's going to be out for a month at least total. That's rough.
Brutal.
Really brutal.
Yeah, he probably isn't make the All-Star game.
No, there's no way. Oh, but he played.
And even if he could, they're probably like, we want to give you the extra time anyway.
Right. He played catch for the first time since his toe injury, so that's progress.
Wonderful.
But also, I mean. I guess it's less because I'm thinking you probably just have him hit, but I'm like, oh, where is there less like strain on a toe? Like, I don't know, playing the outfield seems like not a good idea. Which toe is it? I think it's his right toe. I think so. He's
that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's tough for a righty.
Yeah, I know.
That's tough. It would be better if it was his left because you don't have as much twisting on that bad boy.
Yeah. All right. Well, All-Stars are set in stone.
We don't know who the pitchers are yet, right?
We don't know the pitchers. Judge will obviously not probably start, and so there may be some movement depending on injuries and stuff. But I wanted to move on to our next subject. Before I do, folks who have not filled out a form in the link, we can make sure to fill out a form to possibly win 2 tickets to an MLB game show or an MLB game of your choice. Also, giveaway on PlayBack after the show. So make sure you stick around for that. Also, well, not also, but leading into Steve Cohen, who is the owner of the Mets, had a press conference yesterday. I don't know if you saw this news, Justin, or read about it or anything.
I mean, I've seen they're like the Padres right now, where it's like the news coming out of the organization is not good news, shall we say?
Not good. And he had a press conference, and he was like, basically, the panic button, we haven't hit the panic button yet, but it's getting pretty close. And all right, first of all, I mean, the guy has dropped $360 million on his payroll.
Would have been more if my man hadn't failed his physical, right? So
that's true.
Correa?
Would have been more.
Could be worse.
But also that's not including the luxury tax. So he's close to $500 million right now. On total,
$500 million.
Yeah, $500 million,
man.
Then you have here's my 2 cents on people that just they have dollars, they have deep pockets, and they buy a team, and they just think money is going to basically solve the whole thing, right? And we've seen time and time again that it may help, but it is definitely not the solution to everyone's problems. And here's another example, a guy who's a single owner. This is different than the Guggenheims who bought the Dodgers, because it's not a single owner. It's like a conglomerate, right? They have different branches and stuff. But this guy, Steve Cohen, just dropping buku bucks and thinks, I'll just spend as much money and this is what I should get. Thoughts on Steve Cohen and the Mets overall, Justin?
Well, I mean, listen, the situation closer to home is the Dodgers. I mean, obviously NL West, you follow the NL West as well. It's just you can have an assortment of very talented players, and for whatever reason, it doesn't necessarily mesh or meld properly. And money, I mean, here's the thing. It's you're highly successful as a business person, right? This Cohen fellow. And money has probably always been the only thing he needed to have to fix whatever problem he had.
Right.
And there's just more to it in sports in general, right? It's how often is the highest salary the best team? It can happen, but it seems that it's not always the case, right?
Well, look at the Rays.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's decades of number one picks, though, right? I mean, they've had top picks for all these years, so the contracts are lower, but the talent is high because they're picking early in the draft every year. So, at least for a while they were. Now that obviously has changed because eventually you fill your ranks up with, top 10 picks, and eventually you're going to have a squad. Yeah. So, but the second contracts of some of these guys, that's going to be more of an issue, right? I mean, it's unfortunate. I shed no tears for billionaires, but it's kind of funny in some ways. It's wow, you spend all of this money, but he didn't bring in with the little bird left on the rock.
He didn't bring in a baseball people. I mean, he has a GM and stuff, but it doesn't feel like it feels like to me he was like, I got a ton of money and the Mets need to turn it around. I'm going to dump everything I have into it and just like, and by the way, he gets Scherzer and Verlander and pays them a fortune, and they're like 39, 40 years old.
They're in their prime, bro.
Look, they still can bring it. I'm not saying that. However,
I'm just gonna say this: Verlander was in the 2012 World Series. Like, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago. So I mean, he's still throwing gas to his credit,
right?
But yeah. I mean, what's he, 40?
Yeah, he's pushing. He's probably 39, 40.
I mean,
right?
It's just,
yeah. You got to make better moves. You got to. I mean, like, look, you got to.
You know what it feels like? It feels like a guy who's like, I know that guy. I've heard of him. That's a good player. He's been good forever.
He was on my fantasy team. He was on my fantasy team,
dude. I think it was on my.
I remember him.
2015.
He's been playing for 15 years. He must be really good. Yeah, and I'm going to pay him $40 million because I have billions.
Name recognition.
I don't really care. Yeah.
I know who these guys are. If I have never heard of them, I don't want them on my team. It's like, okay, great, but some of these guys don't have much tread left, and
right.
I don't know.
Now the Padres situation is similar. However, here's the side note of the Padres. The ownership group is like the nephew of Walter O'Malley or Peter O'Malley, the O'Malley family who brought the Dodgers from Brooklyn to LA. So they have baseball.
So they bought
roots.
back in. They bought back into.
They bought back in. They bought the Padres.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when the O'Malley sold the team and like sold them to Fox, like that's when the Dodgers just went downhill. That was like
I loved
horrible.
it. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But so the O'Malleys. So yeah, it's his nephew. I think it's Peter's nephew, but Walter. So they are in baseball. So to see them struggle.
Yeah, but see, it's a different situation where they have players that are talented, currently talented, young, talented players. But this is a different issue. This is more of a chemistry. It sounds like it's a chemistry issue where you have guys that just are not gelling for whatever reason. The personalities aren't matching up, which is an awful problem to have, right? Where you have supremely talented individuals who, for whatever reason, don't like each other. And so it's not working. And it's like baseball is such a weird game because you're with, like, of all the sports, you're with these guys probably more than anyone else. And if you can't stand your clubhouse,
right.
Well,
it's also a sport too, like unlike football and basketball, where like if you have a stud quarterback or a stud, guard or center, like, I mean, they just take over, like
one player is not going to make the difference for the most part, or two or three is not going to do it for you
in a baseball team.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas basketball, football, that can literally.
Oh, you can have 1 through 3 hitting 500 and still not do well. It's like.
Yeah, the Padres
plus, you get a bullpen, like their bullpen, like, which is funny because the Padres had always historically had a great bullpen, and now it looks kind of shaky. At least Yeah. Also, hater couldn't happen to a better person.
So, I mean, look, so like, who would have thought we're like at the end of June, the Padres are, let's see, 7 games under 500. The Giants are 10 games over 500.
You feel me?
10 games over 500, 2 games back. If you hear a noise in the background, there's like a leaf blower. Right.
Yeah, I was curious about what was going on there. I was like, is that a ringtone? What's going on right now?
This is a very strange time to have a leaf blower come by. But, yeah, dude, honestly, the Giants and the Diamondbacks are first in the NL West. This is why. Now, the Pirates have come back to earth. I know the Pirates were on like they
were riding high early. But that's another thing. It's like, it's not even July yet. So it's like some of the, like, let's pump the brakes on the obituaries. There's still a lot of time left in the season, but
right.
It's not looking good. We can certainly say that. It's not looking good.
It's definitely not.
It would be interesting because, there's a lot of smoke coming out of the Padres where, like, I read a couple of tweets where guys, like, they just hate playing with each other, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, okay, do they make a move?
Do you think it's too many egos? Do you think it's too many egos?
It's like, it seemed like it was a combination of ego and effort, right? So it's like guys are saying you're not playing hard enough, which is a rough thing. It's a rough critique, is you're not playing hard enough. You're not, what else is there? It's like, if you're not performing, at least try hard, but
right.
Also, it's not like it's coming from it's like, this is all behind the, off the record sort of, like, I don't want to give my name, but this is what I'm feeling kind of stuff. So, take it with a grain of salt. But usually where there's some smoke, there's probably fire at least,
For sure. I mean, so since we are like at the end of June, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but mid-season move predictions, what do you have? What do you have thoughts on? I mean, let's go like homegrown. What do you think the Giants do?
I think the Giants need a starter. I mean, because here's the thing. It's like they're doing a great job with the opener situation, using the bullpen. But I feel like the season is too long to rely on these guys to eat up that many innings, as great as they've been. Now Farhan likes going to the minors and bringing in, jockey and Jimmy jacking around with who comes up and who goes back down. But I don't know if it's sustainable. And so I would like to see them pick up a starter. I think it was Adam months ago who said Haniger, great player when he's healthy, but the when he's healthy thing is one like in all of sports, the when he's healthy is one of the worst things to be said about you because it usually means that you're not often healthy. And I think this dude's going to be out until September. So, I mean, now the young guys that have come behind him have played well. But I don't know if they go for any fielder help, but I think a starter or two may not be a terrible thing for the Giants.
Do you think they trade just some of their guys in the minors?
I imagine it's, not their top prospects, but
right.
Because
look, at this 15. Point, you have to make some moves because you're second place. You'd make the wild card, especially with how many wild cards we have now.
Yeah, that's right. I thought it was you. Yeah. And he seemed like a great guy. It's just like, my goodness, once he started, it felt like the gears started turning. It was like, oh man, he's starting to hit balls hard and hit by a pitch. Thanks, Dodgers, by the way. Completely crushed him with that fastball, and then the fans got mad at him for taking too long, which is ridiculous. Anyway, I'm sorry, getting off on a tangent, but yeah,
no, that's fine.
Ridiculous. Just baseball, man. What a cruel mistress.
So they get a starter. I feel like the Giants will get a starter plus maybe a bat.
I mean, I'd love to see it. I feel like a starter is something they really, really need just to give the bullpen, which has been performing great, but I just don't know that you can ask the bullpen to do this for a full season plus the playoffs. That's all,
Yeah. And you definitely need, like, if you have one, if you add another key starter to your rotation in the playoffs, that's huge because you're usually rolling with three guys,
right.
Because
the rest, the days off, right. You can usually make that work.
And there's like shorter series and you're traveling ball and stuff like that. The Dodgers they have to make a move. I don't think there's just too much, like the Diamond. We don't have a big enough lead. We don't have any lead, quite frankly, but we need to make some kind of adjustment here.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know.
That is where, like, because it feels like
here's the thing: is like we just keep bringing guys up from the minors. We've brought up so many guys, and like they're just
I've heard
flooding.
Of such things.
I mean, also like it could be an interesting, like this could be a strategy where like they're just bringing up guys, showcasing them in the bigs, and being like, "Hey, these are our guys. Like, let's make a deal." I don't know, but Urias is coming off the DL. Muncy is coming off, or I think he is off of the DL. So we're getting some guys back too. I don't know if there's a splash, but I think there'll be, some movement. I don't know with who.
Yeah,
I don't think
they're looking for.
Do you think Ohtani? Do you think he waits to the end of the season?
I mean,
the Angels are.
I mean, I don't know what his contract situation is. Presumably, he doesn't have any no trade yet, because he was kind of an unknown in the majors.
Mm-hmm.
If I were the Angels, I would try to trade him because you want to get something for him,
right?
But
don't go empty-handed.
It's hard to. It's like when do you trade the best, like if not the best, the top 3 player in the league from your team, and tell your fans that you want to win? Like, I don't know how you do that, because I think what you have to sell as a business is, look, we want to re-sign him, and then we're going to add on to it, But
right,
man,
what the Dodgers need? They need a middle infielder for sure.
You don't like Betts at second? What's going on?
I like him at second, but let's let him go to the outfield. And so I'm eyeing I like
him at second because I'm sick of seeing him run down balls that should be in the gap. So I'd love to see him at second. I like second for Betts.
Dude, he's a freak athlete. But I got my eye on the Rays. I don't know what it would take to get Wander Franco.
Wow.
But I mean, if anybody could do it, I think it would be the Dodgers. If we could get Wander Franco.
What are you offering to get Wander Franco?
Probably prospects. Hey, here's a bunch of our prospects. Wander Franco's 22 years old, so he's a prospect as well. But obviously he can play. I don't know. I'd give up some top prospects to get Wander Franco and then just sign him to a long-term contract. I mean, the Dodgers had other infielders that they just let go. Corey Seager, Trey Turner. So I'm like, okay, why did you guys let those guys? It just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think they let Trey Turner go.
Well, they didn't let him go, but they didn't offer him.
It sounds, I think it sounded like he wanted to go back to the East Coast, is what it felt like.
Okay.
Because it's like some guys just aren't West Coast cats, and it's just not a good fit. And he got traded anyway, so.
Michael says the Rays are not trading Wander Franco.
I think this is what they call a pipe dream. But what would be interesting is, I don't know if I ever remember a time when the Cardinals were sellers, but do you think they're selling this year?
I mean, they are not looking good.
They look terrible. Not looking good feels like an understatement. They look not.
I mean, they are dead last in the Central here. Let's see who they've got that I think the Dodgers could pick up.
I mean, you don't need a third baseman, but I don't want to see Arenado back in the NL West. I'll be honest with you. Goldschmidt can stay out too, but you don't need a first baseman. So,
I would go with Gorman. I don't know how he's doing here. Let me see. I think my headset may have died. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Oh, you got me. Okay. Hold on.
Wow. I mean, I want to know more about why Adam hates Wander so much. Adam was going in on Wander.
Sucks. Wow. The Rays will trade Wander in front. We'll see. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why. He's got a lot of. Yeah. I mean, the Cardinals could definitely be selling here.
I mean, fortunately,
Jordan Walker. I would take Jordan Walker for sure.
Okay.
Let's put Jordan Walker in right field, and we'll leave Betts in the middle infield, and I'm fine with that. That dude is a stud. There's no way they're getting rid of him, though. They're going to build a team around him.
He feels like a little bit too young to get rid. I'm thinking more of your 30s, where it's
you're thinking Goldschmidt. You're thinking Goldschmidt.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a Goldschmidt and or Arenado. He may be 28, or he could be in his 30s too.
28. No, Arenado's 32.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, because he was with the Rockies for a long time. So, Those are the kinds of
Arenado's from Newport, so he could be.
Listen, he's a longtime Giants killer. I don't necessarily need. So is Goldschmidt. Like I remember, even when Tim Lincecum was still in his prime, like Goldschmidt came up, and all of a sudden he just saw him, and he would just crush the kid. It was ridiculous. Anyway, so those are two players that I don't need to see back in the NL West, unless they have orange and black on. Then we can live with it. But otherwise, no. And I don't see us getting a first baseman. I feel like my guy Lamont Wade is doing pretty well. So all things.
Who else do we have that is just like who are sellers? The Nationals are always sellers. The Royals, my gosh. Speaking of the Royals,
trade Kemp. Oh, you can try to get Kemp from the A's.
There we go. Speaking of the Royals, this is another news. They are announcing a new stadium that's going to be coming out in 2027 or 2028. And
is it going to be on the same site? Because, like, I don't know if you've been there, but the Arrowhead and the Royals are in the same parking lot kind of situation, kind of like a Seattle situation. Very convenient. But it was clear. I went in 2014 to Kansas City, and so it was clear that it was an older stadium that they'd kind of revamped a little bit.
Right.
And so I was curious about how much longer, about a decade, it sounds like, they were going to, keep it going. But
yeah, it's time. It's also weird. Like, do you think Kansas City is I don't know. It seems weird to have a baseball. I don't know. They've been like they won the World Series in 2016. So I don't.
They were there in 2014, but Giants had to take them out.
Oh yeah,
7 games.
What were you gonna say about the Royals?
I was gonna make a point about stadium food, which absolutely blew my mind. I'd never seen pints of ice cream served at a baseball game. Like, listen, I know
pints
about the ice cream cones. They were selling pints of ice cream, my guy, and people were just.
What's wrong with that?
A pint of ice cream by yourself at a baseball game? That's wild. That's wild to me. That is absolutely absurd. Are you kidding me? A pint of ice cream.
So, okay. You think it's for an individual? You don't think it's like for.
What do you mean? I think
people?
I watched it.
Get served. You did.
Get your pints in, and you get the pint, and you're like, oh, surely they're going to share it with their homeboy or homegirl. Nah, man, we're in here. And also, I'd never seen 4 and 5X on the rack in their dugout store.
Okay.
4XL, 5XL in the racks. And then I saw the pints, and I was like, oh, it all makes sense.
Now this makes sense.
There we go. But I will say, they're and this is going to be controversial, but their barbecue is solid. I gotta say, KC barbecue is solid. So,
at the stadium or outside?
No, in the city of Kansas City has good barbecue for sure.
Okay,
it's solid. I enjoy it. But again,
why is it controversial? Like, are you worried that people like from other?
Well, because people are very. I feel like you can't like Texas, Memphis, and KC barbecue. Like, you have to pick, and so people, it can be controversial. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I'm just saying
I have not.
I enjoyed it.
So do you ever get, so Adam says, do you at least get the mini helmet with the pint?
You can. That is a thing, but they were selling like the Haagen-Dazs, Ben and Jerry's just
right
as a unit. Like, they weren't it's hard to serve. I think you have to go to like a kiosk to get the helmet with it. Like,
they know their customers though. They got the 4 and the 5XL.
It's not an accident
shirts.
that they sell a pint. Okay, clearly there's a market for it, because that's got to be heavy. Frozen.
What was the flavor?
Milk?
What was the flavor?
I didn't look at the flavor. I saw the size of the ice cream and one person crushing it, and that was enough for me. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what it was.
So, this fun fact: when I was younger, when I was like 13, like growing, I was a little chubbier. I would take down a whole pint. I would take down a whole pint and a large Domino's pizza. That was the game plan. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that was my go-to. Domino's and a pint of ice cream from 31 flavors. But that was when, I was in a little
Is it 30? Is it 21 flavors?
No, 31. Baskin Robbins.
That's 32.
No, it's 31.
Is it?
It's 31.
I mean, listen, I'll defer to you. I thought.
Do not argue with this.
Right,
this I know of. One thing I may know, and I don't know how to spell very well, but I know it's 31 flavors for sure. Let's see, what else do we have to chat about before we take off? I had midseason. No, we got everything in here. Well, the midseason moves, they're gonna happen right after the All-Star break. Some stuff will probably start to happen. So yeah, should be exciting. I hope the Giants make some moves to compete. I mean, you guys are keep it going. I'm curious to know. I haven't actually asked Warren how much he is putting on the Giants this year because I remember when he was putting some dollars in.
Fair, they won 107 games. I felt like you couldn't really miss.
That's
true. I think he did well. I think he did well. Yeah. I want to put any figures out there for the IRS, but I think he did well that year. I think he did well that year.
But I think I'm curious to know what his strategy is right now. He is currently unavailable, but hopefully we'll get him back on the show soon. Folks, thanks for tuning in tonight. We're going to be doing a giveaway on PlayBack. So if you are not on PlayBack yet, please click the link, go to PlayBack, create an account, connect your TV, do all that stuff. Once it's all done, it's easier, but the first time is a little complicated. Justin, my friend, you're like the most consistent guest I have, so much appreciated for always hopping on. It's fun. It's fun.
No, I have a good time. I have a good time chatting, and you see the regulars in the comment section. It's fun. It's hang.
I mean, honestly, like it keeps it more interesting during the season instead of just like checking your fantasy team and turning on Sports Center, because your comments along with Warren's and Munt's are always entertaining and thought-provoking, I will say. So thanks for coming on the show again.
Man, it's always nice to have a platform to talk some mess. And
let it out to the world. The world needs to hear
let the world see it
about our ideas, including trampolines on the outfield fence, which I think still to this day is one of the best.
An absolutely ridiculous idea.
I'm telling you, if I can move it up the chain, I think there will be trampolines.
I think there were so many different reasons why that would be a terrible idea. Why not make the whole warning track a trampoline? So then you run with your cleats and then you just bounce and try to rob home runs, and we'll see what happens.
Speaking of warning tracks, do you think to me it needs to be bigger because it's supposed to warn you, and if you're going fast, that is not going to give you. That's not warning you. I'm telling you right now.
The thing. Okay, so the Giants are playing in Toronto, and it's like the thing that always kills me is when the AstroTurf, or it's not AstroTurf anymore, but the turf, the artificial turf is just painted like dirt, so but it's not actually dirt. Like, I played on fields like that where the warning track is just brown plastic. Paint. Also, it's like, this isn't a warning track. This is just, I have to look down to tell that the color has changed. That's not helping me at all. It's not helping me at all.
Gosh.
So, anyway, I don't know how they fix that.
That is terrible. That is not a warning. That is a
no. It's just showing that you can make plastic a different color, which I think we already knew. So it's funny. What are you gonna do? It could be longer because the athletes are probably that's probably fewer strides than it used to be, especially with some of the guys that are in the outfield nowadays. So
that's true. That is true.
And those walls are not as soft as you think. So
no, they are not. Hence the trampoline idea. But on that note, we'll continue that conversation on our next broadcast.
We'll pick it up next time.
For folks that are watching, head over to PlayBack. We're going there right now. We're doing a giveaway. Justin, thanks for coming on, and we will see you guys next week. All right,
take it easy, guys.